one or more than F5 device, right?
Yeah.
So when you talk about the high availability, majorly concern is like your application availability in respect to the client, right?
Yeah.
So the client will able to access your application anytime, whether this particular F5 device fails or not, right? So these type of availability required that a particular F5 device should not be fail, and it should have the redundant backup so that it can be transferred that role from active to the standby and standby to active, right? So in high availability scenarios, F5 by default, like you most of the scenario you see mostly use active standby scenario only using two F5 device, right? But in F5 you can use multiple device within the same group to act as a active and standby. So if I would say a group can be, I think eight F5 device can be grouped together in a device group to provide an high availability. So when I say eight device, it means all the virtual servers are not active on this. There is a concept called traffic group. So I will talk about the traffic group when you have some understanding on the high availability. So when you say like this IP, if we say an example of for only two device, let's say this one, active standby pair, okay. In this, the client is sending a request to their your F5 device, F5 sending to the server. But if that active device fails, it transfers the role to the standby so that it will become active, right? This is the same scenario we are using with the firewalls and all stuffs, right? By default. Let's take an example. Can we make HSRP as active?
Yes. So we have a HSRP group, right?
Suppose I have taken two device, one router and the second router.
Yeah.
Can we use a two router as a active using HSRP?
Yes. That's correct.
How is it possible?
So you create HSRP group 1 and HSRP group 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you basically assign inside the HSRP group 1, you put a primary and secondary on the first router and second router, and the HSRP group, the secondary will be your first and the primary will be your second.
Yes, the same concept is applied here. In F5, you can use multiple F5 device to act as a active for one group and standby for another group. Or you can say that same. Suppose like if I'm creating a group 1 is active on this F5, this same group is standby on this. If we're creating group 2, this can be active on this, but you can say that standby on this device. So
yeah.
Like HSRP group in F5, that is called traffic group.
Oh, okay,
okay.
Good.
Okay. So I'm just relating the terminology so that you can understand the concept very well. Okay. So when you say traffic group, right? A traffic group is the same thing. You are creating a traffic by default, on just like what we have studied in the last class. That the route domains by default route domain is route domain 0, right? That route domain is part of traffic group. That is traffic group part of, you can say the traffic group 1. By default, traffic group 1 is in part. Either this F5 can take care of this traffic group or this, right? You can say that this traffic group is active on this and standby on this. So by default, only traffic group 1 is active, or you can say that only one traffic group is created within the F5 LTM. If you want to use both F5 as like active, then you need to create two different traffic groups, right?
Okay.
One traffic.
HSRP, correct? Okay.
Yes, the same scenarios. So I have not shown you an option when we creating a self IP. It asks which traffic group you will put that particular self IP to, right?
Okay.
So by default it will show the like traffic group 1 because that is the only part that is defined.
Right. So
I will show you.
So you have, in order to do that, you have to create first. Like for example, my F5 device is already in production for almost 1 year, right? And now I want to put. I bought another one,
Hmm?
Okay, I bought a second F5 after 1 year. Now I want to put this one into seem like active, which means traffic group 1 and traffic group 2, right?
Mhm.
Do I have to format my previous F5 and rebuild again, or can I
No.
somehow do it?
No need to format it again, because like traffic group is like creating a virtual instance for your grouping of active standby. So you can create, suppose you have taken this F5 as your production and you want this to be placed as a high availability with this production, right? So you
Mhm.
just need to first configure like uh, uh, you need to just make this particular F5 as a group within the same group of this F5, so that they can trust each other to make a connection. I will show you the theory how you can build that availability. But first you need to put this F5 into the same group on this particular F5, so that they know each other. When you are creating, you can then create another traffic group and say that this traffic group will be active on this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so no need to format anything. So
Okay.
uh, when you're talking about the traffic group, by default it is not possible, sorry, it is also possible that you are not using this one and you can create multiple traffic groups. So all the traffic group, if it did not find any other device, this device is active for all the traffic groups. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So it is not necessary that only you can purchase another F5 device and then put it into the group and then only you can create a traffic group. No, you can create a traffic group as many as per your requirement, right? But
Mm.
it does not make any sense to creating a different group of for only single device, right? If you have multiple device, then you thought of traffic group to distribute the load of the traffic from F5 one F5 to another F5, right?
Right. Now, you
Correct?
mentioned here is Big IP version 10 high availability concepts. So it does not apply to version 11 or 12?
Sorry, it's a mistake. It is like 11, the same thing. Okay,
Okay.
it's a mistake. It is version 11. I just not noticed it.
Okay.
Okay, okay. So yeah, you can say that in the on if I compare the 10 and 11 version, 10 and below 10, only two devices are part of our active standby group, or you can say that only two devices can we make one group. But but based on the version 11 and up, you can group multiple FI device in a single group. Okay, I will
Okay.
give you the concept of the single group. So I can say that if you are using a version 10, then only two device can be part of active standby or active, not more than two device.
Okay.
If you are using version 11, then you have the capability to include more than two device or more than two F5 device in the same device group. I will give the detail what is the device group. Device group is just to make one or two, or you can say that two or three F5 device to trust each other while sending any traffic connection information from one F5 to another F5. Okay.
Okay.
So, so when you're talking about the high availability, it could be active standby, it could be active. Active standby means the traffic group, or the traffic group is active only on one device. There is no traffic group active on the secondary device. So secondary device is sitting as idle when we're talking about the active standby pair. But when we talk about like if we are creating a multiple traffic groups, it means you can distribute the traffic groups into a different F5 device and make that F5 device active for one traffic group, another F5 device to active for another traffic group. Okay.
Okay.
And when you say like this device F5 is traffic group 1 is active for this one, then this or this and this can be standby for this traffic group. Okay.
Mhm.
And suppose like traffic group 2 is active for this one, then this traffic group is standby either on this or this. It is up to you. You can manually shift which traffic group you want that should be standby on which F5 device, right?
Okay. Mhm.
Okay. So when you're talking about the high availability, its main concern is like whenever the client request sends to the F5 that and uh, connection is given to the server, and in between that F5 fails, the connection should be transferred to the standby and client will see seamless connectivity, or you can say the no interruption in the connectivity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the main purpose. Like the F5 availability is like hardware. If any hardware fails, if any software component fails, that makes, or any interface or any VLAN, you can say that any interface fails, it try to fail over to the standby device so that the client should not see any interruption while accessing the servers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is like when this is active, only active will taking care of all the connections, right? And the standby is setting either. If active goes fails, then standby will take care of the active role and then pass the traffic. Okay.
Yeah. So I just want to know how you are connecting.
I will show the I will show you the topology. I will show you the topology how we can connect to multiple F5. Okay. There are different ways to. I have just giving a theory. Then we can go for the how we can choose the physical topology. How we can build the within F5 configuration utility. Okay.
Okay.
So this is like if this goes down, right, then this will become active, right, and all the session has been taken care by the standby that is become active now, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of the example when you are creating like a group with multiple big IP device, and you are creating a different traffic groups, and each traffic group having, you can say that this traffic group is active on this one, can be standby on this or this or this. This active traffic group is active on this and standby on this, right? This traffic group is active on this and can be standby on this, right? It could be any possibility that you can use, but make sure whatever the traffic group you are using and the resources that they are consuming the traffic group, they can handle the traffic of the another row. Same like HSRP group, right?
Yeah. So I have a question here. So you have made 3 active and 1 standby.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have to be like this, or can I make 4 actives?
Yeah, you can make 4 active. That's not a problem.
Okay. Now, if I make if I make the 4th one active, and let's say 4th one dies after some time, right? So how the traffic, which is currently going on with the 4th device, which just dies after a few seconds, how the traffic will move? Is it going to move among all 3 devices, the first one, second, and third one, or just the one device?
Okay. It will use only one device, either this or this. Okay.
Okay.
Because when you say about the traffic is like going on the traffic group. That is the logical entity within the LTM, right? So when you say like this big IP4 is active for this traffic group, right, and this fails, right? So all the traffic for this traffic group will be shifted to this one or this one or this one, right? Because these are part of the same group. It will use any based on the backend algorithm. You can manually change. By default, it will use the least you can say that least utilized F5 while transferring the traffic group to any other group member. Okay, got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say the big IP is like physical identity, but within the big IP there is a logical identity. There is a traffic group that is handling all the traffic, right? So this is the major utility, or you can say that the component which is failover either to this or this or this or this. Okay.
So you're basically saying that TGA is a traffic group A, traffic group B, and traffic group C? Okay.
Yes. It is like same like HSRP group 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So it says like if that particular traffic group fails, okay, it goes standby. If that traffic fails, it can just shift to the different F5 device, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So understand the concept, like how F5 maintain the high availability concept, like creating a traffic groups, right?
Yeah. So can I do like this? Can I create only 2 traffic group A and traffic group B, and I put 4 of the So I put 4 of them. So in traffic group A, first, second, third, and fourth. Traffic group B, yeah, it won't make much sense. No, yeah.
Yeah, it will not make sense because like when you're creating a traffic group 1 or 2, either you can because the traffic can be active on at a time only on F1 F5, right?
Right.
It will not be active on the other three F5 device. So when you are having a multiple, you can say that if you are having a traffic group 3, the example here is reason for example showing the 3 is here is like suppose traffic group 1 is active on this is active on this, and this is active on this, and they having a highly utilized traffic group. They cannot accommodate one another resources, or you can say that when this fails, if they try to stand by on this, they cannot accommodate all the connections. That's why it is big IP4 is like a standby device, right? So if any one of the fail, they can accommodate that particular F5 to process the load of the traffic group 1 or 2, right?
Right. Yeah, one of the issue with the standby is that you're purchasing such a costly device and it's sitting there doing nothing for many years, right? So that's why I was thinking, like, if I am designing something for the client, I basically will choose, let's say, for example, 3 F5s or 2 F5s. Then in that case, I will make both them active, right? So that both will be used, and depending on their usage, utilization, and how much traffic is coming on those ones.
Yes,
If there's a need to add one more, we can basically propose to have, you have such high enterprise kind of traffic, then you should have 4 of those or 3 of those, whatever amount it is.
Yes, basically when we are seeing that it is like depend on the how many transaction per second handling on the F5 device, right? And you want to segregate the traffic to the multiple F5. Then only then is the purpose of using active. Otherwise, it is not required to use active
Right.
because it can create a complexity while troubleshooting the things, right?
Exactly. I totally agree.
So understand the concept of the device group and the traffic group and
Yes.
how active standby goes, right? Okay. So device group is like when we say device group, it means we are telling the F5 device, or you can say that within that particular group, we are saying okay, 1, 2, 3, these are F5 device, physical device, and they have to trust each other, right? Trust means uh, this particular F5, or you can say F5 1 trust F5 2, so that if any traffic that need to be transferred to the F5 2, they know that they are equally know each other, and they have the trust relationship, and they have the secure communication between them, so that the connection can be transferred easily to the security group 2. Because if the trust is not been established, right, you cannot say that the F5 will having the all the configuration to accept all the traffic. When you are establishing a trust, it means the configuration is also synced between the devices, right?
Right.
So if because when it transfer the load from active to the standby, it will assume that all the traffic or the LTM configuration or the routing configuration is exist on the routing standby also, right? That is becoming active, so that all the traffic will be passed seamlessly without hiccups, because you cannot say that okay, we just need to transfer the role from active to the standby, and the standby does not know what is the routing of the different protocols, or you can say the different destinations, right? So both route, when you are building a trust, it means the both F5 having the same configuration, same routing tables, right? Only the current active connection need to be transferred to the standby device, right?
Right.
So when we are creating a device group within an F5, like 2 or more than 2 device within a device group, it means they are exchanging a certificates between F5, or you can say the self-signed certificate. It is like within a group, it make one CA and another uh, add another device to the same trusted domain. Just like when you are talking about the Active Directory scenarios, in the Active Directory scenario, you are creating a domain and then adding a domain members, right? To make it trust, so that they can use So any client can use or authenticate within the same members, right? Same thing when you are creating an F5 high availability group, it means you are creating a trust between the F5 device by exchanging the certificate so that they can authenticate each other while sending the connection table information to the F5 and any configuration sync that need to be sent to the standby device.
So,
Okay.
so here's the question.